Hello, good afternoon to all of the participants, teachers, educators across Europe. Welcome at the 56th session of the Pan-European Conference on Digital Education. Today we have 4 presentations and we are 4 presenters today. My name is Blanka Tacer. I will be the moderator and also the first presenter of today's event. So I will present the Superhero Lab. Today we released a handbook of best practices on sustainability education in kindergartens, and a few teachers who are member of the Pan-European Conference on Digital Education also contributed to that handbook. Then the second presentation will come from Italy. Melissa Esposito will present flipped classroom learning and digital education. And the third presentation will be by Anna Boldișor from Moldova. She will speak about the impact of STEAM education on the development of critical thinking and digital skills. We will wrap up with a presentation delivered by Ivana Artuković Župan on the use of digital tools in non-formal adult education, the case of the 90th anniversary of the Brod-Posavlje Museum. All the presentations are available in the Facebook group, which is dedicated to the Pan-European Conference on Digital Education. You can download the presentations there. And do not stop at downloading the presentations. Become also our presenter. We are looking the presentations each month because we are dedicated to the peer learning, and we would like to hear from you on and share your teaching practice. So today is the November's conference, and the conference in December is soon, already in 3 weeks, because in December we usually have the conference 1 week earlier. It will be on the 19th December, and then we will go for Christmas holidays. So that's from my side for the moment. Let's see who are our presenters of today. So Melissa already presented once, last year you said, but nevertheless, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I am. Hello, everybody. My name is Melissa Esposito, and I am a high school math teacher. I live in Italy, in the south of Italy, in particular in Naples, and I teach mathematics since 30 years, and I love a lot my job, and I always study new teaching methodologies to be my lessons more captivating. Thank you.
Thank you. And your presentation will be about flipped learning, so you will share your experience with us.
Yes.
Then let's see about Anna Boldișor. Welcome, Anna. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Anna Boldișor, so the correct pronunciation Boldișor, and I am from the...
Thank you for that.
Okay, I am from the Republic of Moldova, mainly from Chișinău. I am a teacher of English language, the first didactic degree, and I am teaching at the Lyceum Elena Alistar from Chișinău. I'm a Master of Educational Science and Leadership mentor, and also a project coordinator for about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years. And I'm trying to focusing mainly on projects that an idea that I'm trying to develop and to focus during my lessons. Well, practically that's it.
And you will showcase one of your examples
Yes,
today.
today I'm gonna present you which is the impact of STEAM education on the development of students' critical thinking and their digital skills.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And Ivana from Croatia, we would also like to hear about you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ivana Artuković Župan. I'm archaeologist and I'm a senior curator of archaeological department of Brod-Posavlje Museum, which is located in Slavonski Brod in Croatia.
Yeah, and Ivana will showcase her digital tools today that she used in presenting the museum artifacts, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so thank you very much. Let's go to the presentation. So today it's my honor to have a presentation. Before I start, I would like to encourage you to share this conference with your colleagues who are also interested in improving their teaching practice. Those of you who need the certificate of attendance for this conference, you can find this link in which you can request the certificate in the video description. So go to the video description and you will find there. Later I will put the link also to the chat. All right, so welcome also your questions. You can ask questions in the chat. So you just type either on Facebook, either on YouTube, depends where you are looking from. Type your question and then I will ask the presenter in the end of the presentations. Okay, so greetings to all of you. Let's see. So my presentation has the title, The Superhero Lab. I will present the handbook that we created. The project is funded by Erasmus Plus program and we are very grateful for that. For a start, I would like to encourage you. What does sustainability mean to you? When you think about the sustainability, what does it mean to you? Please write in the chat. Take a moment to reflect on what sustainability means to you personally or professionally. It could be about how we care for the planet, foster long-term solutions, or even small daily actions that make a difference. So, what is for you? Feel free to share your thoughts in the chat, whether it's a single word, a sentence, or even an example from your teaching practice. I will look forward and show some of your examples. So some of your thoughts. So Edine is saying it means continuous progress. Then ideas are also about recycling and ecology. Okay, so they're very different. I will show some of them later. The Superhero Lab Handbook is actually a collection of sustainability best practices from kindergarten educators. We collected 19 practices from 10 different countries. You can see here that 28 authors contributed to that, which is a great success, I think. Many of kindergarten educators that are members of the Pan-European Conference on Digital Education also contributed to that. So handbook you will see later. has step-by-step instructions on how to implement different activities with children. We focused on the age group from 4 to 6 years, but some of the activities are also appropriate for younger children, and some of the activities are appropriate for, let's say, primary school children up to 9 years, something like that. You will see. We have free of charge access. Either you can download the handbook in the Facebook group Erasmus Plus Kindergartens, either in the Facebook group Pan-European Conference on Digital Education, or you can go on the website superherolab.eu, and under the results you will find this handbook in English language. Currently is in English language, but we are working on other languages as well. So in the end of the year, we will also upload German, Swedish, Lithuanian, Greek, and Slovene version of the handbook. Let's see what's inside. So each of the 19 activities is presented in the same way, so that we can really follow it easy, and that we can implement really in our classrooms. So each of them has like a title, then you can see brief overview of the activity. Then here in this gray side you can see material that is needed for each of the activities. Then, of course, learning goals, and the duration is also usually on the first page. Then on the second page, we start step-by-step instructions. So what do we need to do in order to implement that particular activity? Then on the left side, we provide different resources, and also we designate or highlight the green competence that is connected with that activity, so that we can see which competences are we developing by implementing that particular activity. This collection of 19 activities is appropriate either for beginners in sustainability education, because some of the activities are really simple and they aim to introduce the sustainability to children. Examples of those activities is like we presented the whole series of 10 workshops devoted to introduction to sustainability. Then one example is celebration of special days like Water Day, Earth Day, etc. Then also activities connected with teaching, sorting and recycling. But on the other side, we also collected some of the activities that are appropriate for experienced teachers in sustainability education, because they are a little bit more complex. Examples of those are Let's Get Loud, Toy Free Month, or making recycling paper. So it's almost like a cooking book where you have some activities that are a bit more simpler, and then you have activities that are a bit more complex. Not all of the 19 activities, but at least some of them also had online presentations, because those of you who regularly visit the Pan-European Conference on Digital Education, maybe you can remember that in February and in April we had online events devoted to teaching sustainability in kindergartens. So authors presented different activities also there. These are in the webinar, and then introduction to sustainability and toy-free month and celebration of special days were presented in the April's conference on digital education. So you can see the activities written, but if you want authors, how they present the activities, you can also see our events. I will also present one of the example, and this is making honey in the kindergarten, so that you will see how are the activities written. The authors of these activities are from Croatia, Bojana Cvijak and Gordana Novosil from kindergarten Zvončić Ozal in Croatia. In the handbook, you can find this activity on the page 81. Let's see. So example is like that. Duration of this activity, you will need approximately 1 day to implement the activities. Materials needed. You will need ingredients for honey, which you can find them in the handbook, and different bee-thin educational material like books, videos, or songs. Learning goals of these activities are connected with learning about biodiversity, ecosystem, and collaboration. So now let's see how we can do this activity of making honey in the kindergarten step by step. First step is, of course, always introduction. We need approximately 10 minutes for that, depends what we are going to do, but we can do like that. Begin with a short discussion about bees and their role in the ecosystem. You can either consider visit the local family farm that produces honey, that's also interesting for children, or you can show pictures and read a story about bees, explain the activity and what the children will be doing. So explain the whole purpose. Then the second step is a field trip to the meadow. Take the children to a nearby meadow or garden, guide them in safely picking dandelions, and discuss the importance of flowers and bees while they pick. So now you can see that this activity is appropriate actually for springtime when we have dandelions in our gardens or nearby meadows. Then the third step is preparing the ingredients. When you return to the classroom, or maybe if you have in the kindergarten kitchen area. You first, together with children, wash the dandelions and prepare the ingredients. Measure together with children the necessary amounts of water, sugar, and lemon slices. We have 2 cups of fresh dandelions. For 2 cups of fresh dandelions, you need 4 cups of water, 2 cups of sugar, and 1 lemon sliced thinly. Then let's go to the next page. The step number 4 is making the honey. Then you gather the children around a large table or in the kitchen and follow the recipe and combine the ingredients in a large pot. So add the dandelions petals and water. Bring the water to a boil over medium-high heat. And then once boiling, reduce the heat and let it simmer for about half an hour. Strain the mixture through a fine mesh strainer or cheesecloth into another large pot or bowl to remove the dandelions petals. Then squeeze out as much liquid as possible from the petals. Then return the strained liquid to the large pot, add the sugar and lemon slices to the pot and stir well to dissolve the sugar completely. Of course, allow each child to take turns adding ingredients and stirring. This is usually very interesting for them and very engaging. Then the 5th step, cook the honey. We will need 1 to 2 hours for that. Bring the mixture to a boil again and reduce the heat and let it simmer uncovered for about 1 to 2 hours. The mixture should reduce and thicken to like a syrup, something like that. And while the honey is cooking, engage the children in a discussion about what they see and smell. Show them again pictures or videos about bees, how bees make honey. and ask them different questions. Then the best part is in the end, tasting and sharing. Once the honey is ready, let it cool down. Give each child a small taste of the honey they made and encourage them to describe the taste and how they feel about the activities, about this activity. Yeah, so this is it actually. One example how you can make a honey together with children in the kindergarten, and then you learn about sustainability in this way. I will ask you, what do you think children learn from the activity of making honey? Is this only about making honey, or is something else as well? So think about, what do children learn when they prepare the honey? Zero waste, is Anka saying. Yes, definitely. And what else they can learn? So about bees, about honey, about flowers, about the nature, I guess, but maybe something else as well. I will wait for your replies. In the meanwhile, Murat is saying, if they know how the real honey tasteless, they will learn they are not bees. Yes, definitely. So let's inspire the next generation now, and I would like to encourage you to download the handbook with best practice. As we said, there are 19 best practice. Pick an activity from the handbook. So choose one activity from the Superhero Lab handbook that resonates with you, that you see it's really interesting for you. Then adapt the activity to your children's needs, and get creative with materials and ideas. Because as any other recipes, also those recipes are, like ideas, but of course you can adapt them. Then share your stories. You can post photos or videos or descriptions of your results on our Facebook group Erasmus Plus Kindergartens, and let's inspire also other teachers to participate in sustainability education. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. Let's see what are you saying about what children learn. So collaborate and get more information about a lot of different aspects. Yes, and Ines is saying they learn about biodiversity while experiencing tastes and connection with nature while collaborating with each other. Yes, and they will learn that each idea in their book can be made practical. Right, so thank you very much. If we don't have any questions, I don't see them. Probably you are very busy with answering my questions, so I don't see any of your questions. But if you will have them, you can write and I will provide an answer later. Let's move now to the second presentation. Hello,
Okay.
Melissa.
Hello.
Yes, once again. We heard now about honey, but now we will hear about flipped classroom learning and digital education, right? For a bit older children.
Okay, let's begin with my presentation.
Yes. So flipped classroom learning and digital education.
Let's start. First of all, I want to tell you that I am a math teacher and I love a lot my job, and I love to teach about flipped classroom, using a flipped classroom in my lessons. So let's start. The origins of the flipped classroom date back to the early 21st century in an educational institution in Colorado, USA. And when the teachers found themselves in difficulty due to the students' lack of interest and their strong absenteeism, they decided to develop video tutorials on the topic covered in class and provide them to the children as teaching material. The response was particularly positive from the class, encouraging teachers to implement this activity in all subjects. So the two teachers that were Aaron Sams and Jonathan Bergman, they are considered today the founders of the flipped classroom methodology as an alternative approach to pedagogy which aims to replace lessons created with the old method using multimedia material. In this way, students can take the teacher's explanations home with the possibility of listening to them and internalizing them in their room and not just in the school walls. Here, the real revolution of the flipped classroom is precisely that of bringing the lesson home, moving the time for cooperation, active learning, and discussion into the classroom. And activities that require time and maturation leave no room for the elaboration and free discussion phase. Yet these moments are of vital importance for students because they help them relate to important topics that encourage the development of critical sense. And in this way, the flipped classroom, in a world dominated by digital transformation, which has profoundly changed the relationship between training and technological digital solution, the flipped classroom proves to be a valid response to the ongoing change as a new teaching approach that enhances digital resources and social networks. How? The flipped classroom transforms traditional moments of learning but maintains deep educational roots. In the flipped classroom is an active learning method. It is structured around the idea that the frontal lesson does not represent the best use of class time. Instead, students encounter information before class throughout digital education, freeing up class time for activities that involve higher order thinking. The flipped classroom concept took off when technological changes made it easier to access and create learning materials. And the concept of a flipped classroom is based on the assumption that the lesson becomes homework while the time spent in class becomes a resource to be invested in active learning experiences, collaborative activities, opportunities for discussion and workshops. But what exactly is meant by flipped classroom? As the very meaning of the term suggests, in the educational field, the flipped classroom outlines a reversal of the traditional learning cycle. The frontal lesson and the individual study give way to a training logic that proposes the inversion of the two classic moments. The lesson is moved at home, replaced by individual study. Individual study is moved to the classroom, where the teacher exercises his role as a facilitator. And the rules of teacher and learner have been transformed as a result. The teacher takes on the role of a guide on the educational path. It stops being a cold transmitter of notional knowledge and becomes a facilitator of the teaching action. Who supports the learner in the active processing and development of complex tasks. The learner becomes the true protagonist, the actor responsible for his own educational success, free to self-manage according to his needs. And we are therefore faced with a new teaching methodology throughout which training becomes more fluid and flexible. To be considered as such, it is important that the time gained in the classroom is optimized throughout the sharing of qualitative materials calibrated to the level of knowledge gaining by the students. In fact, the idea of the flipped classroom is that basic cognitive skills, listening and memorizing, can be activated mainly at home, independently, learning throughout training resources shared by the teachers, such as texts, videos, podcasts. In the classroom, however, high cognitive skills, understanding, applying, evaluating, and creating, can be activated since the learner, together with the other participants, and the teacher is called upon to apply what they have learned. a blended modality that exploits all the potential and skills and attitudes of digital natives to allow training to respond effectively and efficiently to the change underway. And how teaching changes. What are the differences between traditional and flipped classroom? As we have just learned, the flipped classroom, also upside down teaching, is a methodology that focuses on the use of digital resources to vary or rather reverse the classic teaching process of explanation in the classroom and study at home. What are the differences with the traditional classroom lesson? Instead, in the traditional teaching model, the teacher teaches and transmits content in the classroom, while the student listens and then re-elaborates the information received at a later time. That is at home, throughout independent study and memorization of what we said in the classroom. And so if in the traditional classroom, most of the time is devoted to lectures, in a flipped classroom, the emphasis is placed on practical application discussion and less on rote memorization of topics. In fact, with the advent of digital transformation, learning has undergone important changes. From a static structure based on the classical model, today we are increasingly moved to interactive forms of teaching based on the concept of virtual classroom and learning methods engaged throughout. Also, the use of gamification, that is another teaching methodology that I love a lot. In this context of profound changes, the traditional class shows its shortcomings. Instructions based mainly on lectures and long, wide slides is no longer able to respond to the different needs or learning methods of the class group. The traditional classroom model provides a theoretical lump of sum of knowledge while offering little room for practical applications of the information. And the single teaching style makes it difficult for students and professionals to maintain high involvement in the learning path. Otherwise, a flipped classroom requires practical activity and critical thinking on the spot while maintaining high attention and enthusiasm of those involved. The characteristics of the flipped classroom approach to training, the flipped approach to training is therefore based on the use of different touch points depending on the cognitive skills that need to be activated in the participants. Basic cognitive skills, memorizing and understanding, can be activated mainly autonomously by learning throughout specifically created and shared resources. And high cognitive skills, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating, can instead be activated mainly in the classroom by carrying out activities that allow you to apply what has been memorized and understood independently. And the flipped classroom, let's speak about the methodology. We can schematize the flipped classroom cycle into three main phases. Introduction of the study topic. In the first phase, the teacher introduces the topic of study and tries to activate interest, curiosity, and the desire for knowledge regarding a specific topic in the classroom group. This step is fundamental because active and meaningful learning does not exist without cognitive and emotional involvement of the participants. Therefore, it is essential that the teacher presents the topic of study by anchoring it as much as possible to reality throughout the use of effective and inclusive content. And in the second phase, implementation of cognitive strategies. The classroom is called to implement those cognitive strategies that are the basis of the construction of knowledge and critical thinking. To learn to ask appropriate and contextual questions, to formulate reliable hypotheses, and to devise method to verify one's assumptions. In this phase, the teacher takes on the role of tutor, guide, and support for active processing. Generally, it is expected that the participants will produce materials and documents individually or in groups, which will then be useful in the third phase. This is the most innovative part of the method, to encourage elaboration. The teacher can propose an authentic real task aimed at finding concrete solutions to a real case or problem, or a creative task designed to allow the division of work into logical team. And let's speak about reworking and evaluation. The cycle is completed with the elaboration and evaluation phase, which consists of a collective process or reflection and comparison of what has been learned, conducted by the teacher throughout the involvement of all participants. The objective of this phase is to clarify and consolidate the topic learned, and starting from the analysis of the work that the classroom group carried out in the previous phase. Here, the teacher acts as a moderator of the discussion and facilitator of the knowledge acquired. The verification of knowledge in the flipped classroom enhances the self-assessment and the co-assessment of the participants, who participate in verifying the results achieved with respect to the objectives and set and at the beginning of the learning path. And what are the advantages of the flipped classroom? Why adopt this new methodology? Here are the 5 main advantages of the flipped classroom methodology. Centrality of the learner. The participant is personally involved in the learning process and not a passive recipient of information transmitted from above. Tailored learning. The learner does not need to adapt to the teacher's speed, as the material available will enable him to follow the pace that best meets his needs. And problem-solving learning by doing. The learner becomes an interpreter of his own knowledge as well as an author, because he is the protagonist of activities which see him engaged in solving problems, and in this sense, learning throughout practice. Rich and stimulating environment. Time in the classroom is used to carry out useful and captivating activities, during which the learning participates personally in the construction of knowledge by developing and strengthening independent and peer learning. And collaborative environment. The learner is encouraged to collaborate with others in developing knowledge, thus improving the quality of educational interactions. And the flipped classroom, how to put it in practice. Before structuring a flipped classroom project, it is essential to have a clear understanding of the objectives that the learners must have achieved at the end of the learning path. Therefore, only after having decided how to act, it is possible to start creating the contents. In response to the methodology, the main phases of flipped classroom project can be divided into first, preparatory moment. The teacher identifies or creates from scratch the multimedia resources, texts, videos, podcasts, relating to the topic to be addressed, shares them with the classroom group, and assigns the tasks to be carried out. Secondly, operational moment. The classroom group engages in individual study, which is not limited to the study of materials, but also involves the creation of papers to present in the classroom and demonstrating what and how much has been learned. The ideal would be for each participant to decide for themselves the tool throughout which to demonstrate their level of learning, for example, videos and the concept maps. And then restructuring and final moment. The teacher evaluates the works of the participants in the course and identifies which concepts have been assimilated best and which, however, need to be repeated and or explored in depth. The main objective must always be to promote the internalization of concepts and make the learning effective. And what are the benefits of the flipped classroom? According to the Flipped Learning Network, the main benefit linked to the use of the flipped classroom methodology are 4 and can be traced back to the first letters that make up the verb to flip in English. F, flexible environment. The learning process is based on the flexibility of space thanks to the possibility of making theoretical learning autonomously and on demand throughout the use of a learning management system. L, learning culture. In the traditional teacher-centered approach, the source of knowledge is the teacher. That on the flipped classroom is an approach centered on the participant, who therefore becomes an active protagonist of his own training. Intentional content. The contents covered by the independent study are not an end in themselves, and therefore oriented towards a notional study, but designed to facilitate and support all the learning process, both from a theoretical and practical point of view. And P, professional educator. The educator's responsibility is greater than the envisaged in the traditional approach, as is called upon to continuously observe the classroom group engaged in the learning process, and evaluating progress and providing timely feedback, thus making the learning itself more effective for the participants. And the flipped classroom, therefore, today represents an important tool for those who deal with 360 degrees training and corporate training specifically. Employing this methodology means first and foremost enabling participants to be autonomous in their learning, thus promoting better integration between the time dedicated to training and the time dedicated to learning activities, without forgetting that the active learning component on which the flipped classroom is based allows for a practical aspect to be given to the training course itself. And in a world when know-how is increasingly relevant, the flipped classroom methodology allows us to achieve this training objective, also thanks to the support of digital tools. And now I want to speak to you about my experience with the flipped classroom. My direct experience. I teach mathematics in a school to teenage students who continuously use smartphones and other devices, also in the classroom. And so I thought of using this habit to my advantage, and above all, to my teaching. In fact, I decided to turn my classes upside to flip my teaching down by creating a YouTube channel with the videos created by myself and on all the topics that I usually explain in the classroom. Instead, in the flipped classroom, the student watch the videos with the explanation at home, and then in class we apply what we have studied by carrying out many more exercises and conceptualize maps and texts created by my students home. And obviously, I also integrated the materials with the content taken from the web. The students really liked this new approach and appreciate that the videos were created by their teacher or me, especially for them. And I want to tell you that I've been teaching mathematics with great pride in this high school in southern Italy for about 30 years. And I have always taught with a great passion and trying to improve my teaching methods. So I'm always looking for new teaching methodologies that make my lesson captivating and allow my students to become passionate about this discipline, mathematics, which very often arouses fear, if not fear, in many. And I'm constantly updated of new digital tools to use during lessons. And the flipped classroom methodology allows me to use several of them. I started completely flipping the lesson in my first class. 14 years old teenagers who are learning that they can use their smartphones and devices to learn mathematics. I created this channel with the videos relating to all the first year topics divided into playlists, and I send my students a video to watch at home on the topic we will address in class. The students have to transcribe the theoretical contents of the videos into their notebooks and carry out the proposed examples. The videos are short. They last no more than 5 or 6 minutes. It is scientifically proven that these are the right times to keep their attention high and obtain the best learning results. And this way, if something is not clear to them, they can stop the video, go back and listen to the explanation again in class, in addition to carrying out the exercises related to the topic studied in the video. The students discuss together the theory studied at home and question each other. In this way, my role becomes that of a careful guide, a tutor, and the students feel more involved all together. I found a much higher level of attention that I found during the traditional than in the traditional lesson. The students interact with each other, with the teacher, ask questions, and asked for further information. They approach the lesson with enthusiasm, joy, and everyone participates. Even the shy ones. At the beginning of the class lesson, I often propose a quiz that I create for them with a Kahoot on the topics studied in the video. So we start the lesson in the relaxed atmosphere. And the students begin to repeat the topic while having fun and don't realize that they are already studying. And I often integrate my videos with other materials that I take from the web, such as diagrams, tables, formulas, graphs, real-life examples. And in this way, I believe we manage to apply digital education in a complete way. For me, the result obtained is very satisfactory. School in Italy started about 2.5 months ago. And if students who at the beginning of the year said that they hated the mathematics, now want to intervene during the lesson, to explain a concept, state a definition, demonstrate a theorem, and they do it with language properties, with clarity, and certainly I think I have achieved my goal, to make mathematics a subject to be loved and not to be feared, to be able to make it loved by everyone, and to ensure that everyone possesses the necessary foundations to study it over the years, subsequent ones. My speech is ended, and thank you all for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oops, just a second. Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Melissa. So you provided such good arguments that I cannot believe that all the teachers do not use flipped classroom. If they would listen to you, I think that all of them would use it because it sounds so logical and so practical, and for students so, so motivating because they can see the videos anytime they want and as many times, because especially mathematics is really difficult for some students to understand, so it's really good that they can see 10 times if they want.
Yes, and
Yeah.
you can't imagine. Now they ask me, teacher, please create a new video about this topic if I don't
Yes.
want to flip the lesson. And they want now my videos.
Yeah, I believe, yeah, and especially with your passion, I believe that they love the videos. So,
Yes, I love.
uh, thank you very much, Melissa. Please come again with your experience, with your
Thank you.
cases. Always welcome in the Pan-European Conference.
Thank you. Thank you. It's
And now let's move to Anna. Hello. Anna's presentation is about the impact of STEAM education on the development of critical thinking and digital skills. Welcome. So do we have your slides already?
Yeah, just a second.
Yep.
Just
Okay, here they are. In the meanwhile, the certificate of attendance link is in the video description and also in the chat. Welcome also the questions for the presenters. Okay, we see your slides, but now we need a bigger screen.
Don't you have the bigger screen? Because I tried to do that.
Uh-huh.
Did you?
Still all the slides. We see all of them. Not one slide, but all of them.
Just a second. I'll try once again. Okay.
Okay, wait for a few seconds. Now, okay,
Now?
here. Yeah, again we see just all the slides. But okay, go on so that we don't use much time.
Okay. So, I am Anna Boldișor. I am a teacher of English language. I am from the Republic of Moldova. I have been teaching the English language for about more than 15 years. So, today I'm going to share some of my good experience, some of my, let's say, jobs or projects that I try to do with my students, and mainly those activities where I try to apply the STEAM approach. So my topic today would focus on the impact of STEAM education on the development of students' critical thinking and their digital skills. So, as an argument for choosing this topic is that nowadays children become consumers of technology at an early age. But have you ever wondered how conscious they are to use it? With the revolution of the digital age and the development of technologies, the need for major changes in education has arisen, as well as the reorganization of students' professional training's orientation. So students' professional training based on the approach of the STEAM concept is indeed a world challenge nowadays. The insertion of the STEAM educational concept in education brings with it the need for reforms in the field of educational content. From the moment when Yakman introduced the acronym STEAM, it became viral in the educational environment and is promoted worldwide as one of the most important concepts of the 21st century learning. So thus, developing the 21st century skills nowadays is crucial for our future leaders, for our future students. One effective way, in my opinion, is to foster these skills through STEAM education. But what is that STEAM education? So I think that nowadays is not something new. Everybody has heard about STEAM or STEM education, and everybody knows that is an interdisciplinary approach to research, innovation, and art, whose purpose is to develop students' creativity. STEAM or STEM is an active, applied constructivist method of learning by doing. So students will work in the classroom or at home with their parents. They will act like scientists or like engineers, observing, asking questions, formulating ideas or hypotheses, experimenting and putting into practice what they have discovered individually, or while doing some experiments individually or in groups, formulating and conveying their own conclusions. So in fact, as a conclusion, I can tell that STEAM or STEM education is a kind of philosophy of education what promotes teaching skills and subjects in a way that resemble real life. So, what are in fact the advantages of STEM or STEAM education? But you already know that STEAM or STEM education, this is the mix, let's say like that, of all five components of that approach, of science, of technology, of engineering, of art and mathematics in one approach. So we all know that STEAM education meets all the 21st century skills in one approach. So first of all, this method, because STEAM education, it's an approach, where we can call it a method, encourages the students' critical and creative thinking. That's why I am firmly convinced that this approach could really help all our students to develop their critical thinking, and not only students. It is
Anna, can
also,
I just interrupt you for a
yes.
moment because we still see just the first slide and we don't
Okay.
see. Yeah, okay, yeah, now we see. Thank you.
But could you see the first,
The
the bigger
advantages of
screen?
STEM, yeah, STEM education we see now. That's the fourth slide, right?
Yeah, right now. And what do you see right now?
One photo and a text in in purple color. Meets all 21st century skills in one approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go on. So I will continue with another advantage that STEAM education occurs within the curriculum. It's not extracurricular, but sometimes it can be even extracurricular because some activities could be done in the class or maybe during some extracurricular activities after lessons. But because some topics they are according to curriculum, so they could be done even during the lessons. It's also a comprehensive interdisciplinary approach because we can work together with other disciplines. We can combine different types of activities. That's why it's very interesting and useful to work together and to apply this approach. It also stimulates natural and free students' curiosity to research and learn everything through analytical thinking. It includes real-world troubleshooting activities directed towards problem solving. So with STEAM help, classroom can be transformed into a creative environment for students and teachers. So, can you see my next slide?
Yes, the principles of STEAM activities.
Yeah, the principles. So further on, I'll focus on the principles because those principles are really important when you consider or when you think about starting an activity or a project that is in STEAM or a STEAM activity or a STEAM project. So the most important, let's say, principle of such activities are the following, that STEAM activities should be specific and they should be based on problem solving and or critical thinking. So those types of activities are not linguistic because we are teachers of English. So sometimes when we may confuse them and we can consider them to be linguistic, and we are trying to develop the communication skills of the students. Yeah, we do that. But however, the main purpose of a STEAM activity is, however, to solve a problem that we have to give them, the students, I mean, from the very beginning. So another principle, or principle number 2, are the objectives that should be clearly identified, and those objectives should identify the problem that would be solved by the student. For example, to build some windmills or a solar oven from some different kind of materials, etc. Principle number 3, about the integrated disciplines that promote interdisciplinarity. So this is also a very good principle and approach that we should collaborate with other disciplines as to be able to hold on or to deliver such activities, STEAM activities, I mean. And principle number 4, so in STEAM or STEM activities, students have to do something by themselves. They should not copy what others have said or what others have done. They should do their own research. They have to study some information, to look for some information, and after that they have to create by themselves something new. This is engineering, according or applying those rules or theorems that they have acquired or what they have learned, and after that they have to formulate their own conclusions and observations. Further on, I'm going to give you some examples from my own experience, teaching experience. So you can see here I have 2 links for 2 of my projects that I try to involve my students in 2022. So the first one, this is the project Let's Steam Books and Fairy Tales that I really let's say I love that project. So I'll try to open it, as you'll be able to see what the students have done during that STEAM project or STEAM activities. So just tell me if you can see the link. Is it opening?
No, we still see slides, not the link. You have to change the screen probably and share the entire screen, and then we will see the
I will
gallery.
do that. I tried to do it
results.
simultaneously, but I can see that it's not okay. Okay, just a second. So that was our project.
Yes.
Let's see books and fairy tales. Okay. Okay, what actually was that project about? So it's a Google slide that we filled in during our project with all our objectives, main goals, etc., all the participants. But I just want to say that the main goal of our project was to create. So I really stated that, the main goal was to educate students critical thinking and digital skills during the English language lessons through reading and analyzing their favorite books or fairy tales and applying the studied geometrical or geographical theories, and to design some 3D digital projects or shapes that would symbolize or that would represent the students' favorite books. So that was the main goal. And the main objective of that project was to create those 3D or digital projects that would symbolize their favorite books. And as well, the students had to analyze their favorite books according to a kind of requirement. So they have to answer some questions that were asked. I would like to present the result of their activities, because everything that the students have done, so I try to post on the Padlet. So just tell me if you can see the Padlet.
Yes, we see the Padlet.
Yeah, so on that Padlet we posted, mainly not we, but the students by themselves. So they posted their research or their investigations in their favorite books. Yeah, so they try to make that investigation not a usual investigation, but they try to do something special. And I just told them to apply the STEAM approach while investigating. So that means they had to apply science, or to find something scientifically in that book, to apply technology that would be related, to do something from the technological point of view as that would be related to their favorite book, as well to apply mathematics, art. So they had to present their favorite book in a STEAM way. So that was one activity that they did. So if you would like, I can share one of their presentation. I hope we have enough time to do that. Just tell me if you can see the presentation.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that was one of the investigation of one of my students. So the book that he chose was, can you guess? Alice in Wonderland. So the student has specified or mentioned why Alice in Wonderland was his favorite book. A little or a short summary was here introduced as well. Then he drew a kind of digital map using a digital application. So we studied some applications that they could use. So this is the final, let's say, project, the map of the story. After that, the main characters. So they had to introduce the main characters of the book, to state what impressed most of all about the book and what were the lessons that they have learned from the book. They had to mention 5 benefits about reading the book, and from the scientific point of view, what he has discovered in Alice in Wonderland. So here the boy spoke about, my student spoke about the damages of cigarettes, of smoking, and he found even a main character in the book that was smoking. Then from the technological point of view, he tried to use an app where he would, he mentioned the photo editor app, and he made the cat from Alice in Wonderland in a human body. So that was his imagination. For the engineering part, he created some playful playing cards. Yeah, I will show them later on the gallery. And for the art part, he created a poetry about Alice in Wonderland. Really nice poetry. Who wants can upload or download the presentation and can read it. And also he created a maths problem that the students during their maths lesson they have had solved those problems. So that was a kind of activity that they did for investigational moment. And here in the final, so I would like to present the gallery that our student had created. So this is our STEAM gallery. Just tell me if you can see it.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Need to share the screen.
Yeah. Again, to share the screen. Okay. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Share
Couple of seconds. It will be there.
Yeah. Hope that you can see it.
Just yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's here.
So at the end of that project, so students presented all their let's say created project, those objects, 3D objects that they have to create that would symbolize their favorite books while presenting their favorite books, because we had a special day, as you know, the World Book Day, and during that day everybody came to present his or her favorite books, while presenting as well that object that he or she created. So here we have some of them, so I'll try to make the screen a little bit bigger. Okay, so they created, just let me show you more. Okay, so that's the guy that I was talking about, that he presented his book Alice in Wonderland. Just let me use the mouse, maybe it's better. So those were the cards that he created, very creative, I think. Then we have another girl that chose the story Hansel and Gretel. So she created the house from sweets and candies. Afterwards, we have the boys in pajamas. So the popular book or film even. So you can see a lot of objects, 3D objects that pupils or students, my students, try to create by themselves. You can see the Cinderella's shoe. Okay. From the Red Riding Hood. Okay, so here you can see the book, the favorite book, and then the objects that the student had created, the heart, so the main symbol of the book. So a lot of projects, 3D projects, and as well, my smaller students try to create their own favorite book. So they try to create a book with their own main characters. And after that, we made a kind of contest with the best book. So you can see the books. Okay, so that was our first project that I wanted to speak today, and I'd like to speak about one more, because I think that the principles of STEAM education could be seen better on the second one, because it's more practical, I think. The first one was more related to books, to literature. It's really difficult to calculate something, because while doing STEAM or STEM project or activity, you have to calculate something, or to do something that would be linked to them let's say, to problem solving. We have done something that was in STEAM, and I'd like to show you. I think that's important. The same project, I would go back. Just a second. So we had one activity with all the partners, project partners, in which so we had, the students actually had to demonstrate or had to apply the studied Beaufort theory, or the Beaufort theory, that how the wind, or the intensity of the wind, affects the resistance of some objects. So we took the Three Little Pigs house, Three Little Pig fairy tale. I think everybody knows that story. So what was possible to measure or to calculate here? So we were interested or to prove the veracity of that fairy tale, if indeed the intensity or the changing in the intensity of the wind can change or can affect the resistance of the roofs of the houses of the Three Little Pigs. So this is what our students have done. So they created those Three Little Pigs houses, and after that, using the hair dryer, so we applied the Beaufort scale. They applied the Beaufort scale, or the theory of Beaufort that they have studied during their geography lessons, and by changing the intensity of that, the intensity of the wind, let's say like that, so they could make the experiment that was presented in the fairy tale, and they could actually in online timing show and prove to their online partners that let's say the fairy tales words are really are real and are I don't know how to tell exactly. They proved that the story was real, and indeed, the roof made of stone was the most resistant to the changing of the wind intensity. So the results of this experiment, so they had completed the chart with the observations, that they made their own conclusions. You can see here. So they learned that indeed the Three Little Pigs fairy tale proved as scientifically proved truth that the stone house is always the most stable and strongest ever. So that was a little STEM activity that we could apply during an online lesson. We're meeting with our project partner. So here you could see how we could do that. And the other project that I just wanted to mention, just a couple of words. If we have time.
We will have to conclude soon because we have one more presentation. So
Yeah,
maybe
just let me show
the last sentence.
the pictures. I will not stay long. I will show just the picture. So the second project that I wanted to mention and where we applied the principles of approach was the project My Dream House. So you can see here that the students had the possibility to work not just with the books, but they worked digitally also during their online classes with their project partners. They could discover some digital applications in this in-house designers designing, and they even had their main goal to create their own favorite or dream house. They created posters, they created kind of investigations about how their dream house should look like, the materials that should be used as to build a house. They have learned how to build houses while researching some videos that the teachers had showed them. And after that, by the end of the project, so the students had to create their own houses and they had to present them. So here you can see some pictures of the houses that were created by my students during that project. And the digital lesson that we had and where we could use the application as to learn how to build a house. So, and for sure, all these presentations and all these projects were done in English. And I think that STEM education is really good, not just to develop the critical thinking, the digital thinking, the digital skills, and as well creativity, and the most important for us, for English teachers. So it helps us to develop their love for English and their English communicative skills. So this is practically everything that I wanted to tell you.
Thank you very much, Anna. Congratulations on your work. Very rich, very creative, and it's really inspiring, and it inspires also students' critical thinking, I believe. So thank you very much, and come again with your teaching cases.
Thank you.
And today we will cover actually all levels of education. We started with kindergartens and we are concluding with adult education. Ivana, welcome once again. Your presentation is about learning in museums, so digital tools in non-formal adult education.
Yes.
Yes.
Once again, hello everyone. My name is Ivana Artuković Župan. I'm archaeologist. I'm not a teacher, but we don't have educator in museums, so we all try to do that work.
But you are all teachers in museum, so
we are trying. We are trying to be, but it's not a job. It's a hard job.
Yeah, it's your second job, right? Yeah.
Yes, and I will try now to share my screen. Wait a second. And I will try to put my presentation. Do you see it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Like I said, I'm a senior curator of archaeological department in the Brod-Posavlje Museum. And my museum is, we are a small general local museum located in Slavonski Brod, a city in the eastern part of Croatia. Our founder is Brod-Posavlje County, and you can see on the map where we are. A few years ago, our building looked like this. We are currently a construction site, and this is what we should look like when the construction work is completed, which should be by May next year. These are our most famous objects, and the Roman military diploma and the Roman parade greave are objects of European importance. During the Homeland War in the early 19th of the last century, we were left without permanent exhibition, and we constantly organize exhibitions that last for several months. You can see photos of the last few of our exhibitions. Also, we live in a rich archaeological area along the Sava River, and archaeological research brings us a large part of our income. Our exhibitions are often accompanied by educational workshops for children of school age. Here, they have classes about local history. One of our weaknesses is the small number of adult group visits. We realized that we don't provide them with enough interesting content to visit us. We needed new ideas. We needed to find a way to fix our flaws. We wanted outputs for necessary changes in approach and creation of new contents. So we designed and applied for the Erasmus Plus project, something old, something new approaches of learning in museum. Here you can see 3 of my colleagues who are also participating in the project. This is our first Erasmus Plus project. It ends on November the 30th. This year, our museum celebrates the 19th anniversary of its existence, and we have woven an anniversary exhibition into the project. The first part of the project was mobility. Our colleagues from Poland proved to be friendly hosts and valuable colleagues from whom we can learn a lot. We visited the museum at the salt mine in Wieliczka near Krakow and the Warsaw museums. In addition, we went to structured courses whose topics were related to the narrower area of interest of each of the 4 of us. I'm interested in digital, in modern technologies. Whenever my obligation allowed, I was present as a listener at this conference, and I also plan to continue listening to it after the end of our project. The second part of our project is dissemination, which includes educational workshops. Here you can see 3 photos from 3 workshops designed by my colleagues. The aim of the workshop, Museum Outside the Museum, a walk through cultural heritage, is to introduce participants to the natural, archaeological, and cultural historical heritage of Slavonski Brod during a walk through the center of our city. The aim of the Art and Heritage workshop is to get to know the exhibition and our city through the artistic expressions of famous painters from Slavonski Brod. The aim of the My Life, Your New Story workshop is to introduce participants to the events that have marked the museum over 9 decades and to the people who created the history of the museum, their life stories and the stories that can be told by objects from our museum holdings. Then the participants told their stories and connected museum objects and events from the past with their personal experiences. The participants belonged to 2 target groups. They were members of the community of clubs of treated alcoholics of Brod-Posavlje County and members of the Association of Croatian Pensioners of Slavonski Brod. My topic was access to cultural heritage through modern technologies. My target group were members of the Association of Croatian Pensioners of Slavonski Brod. There were 20 of them, and some of them connected in groups and worked together because it was easier for them. And these are my goals. I wanted to make it easier for pensioners to use the digital tools. I wanted to bring cultural heritage closer to pensioners through digital tools. I wanted also to break down the prejudice that pensioners are digitally illiterate. I wanted to collect the personal experiences of workshop participants because the museum, in addition to objects, also collects personal experiences. I also wanted that we all create a video as a product of the workshop. And at the same time, I wanted to make a promo video and maybe encourage someone who usually wouldn't to come and see the exhibition. So I decided to create workshop 90 Years of Brod-Posavlje Museum, a small digital guide to the exhibition. The workshop took place on the 18th of October 2024. Here you can see photos from the exhibition. Our most important items are here. And I try to implement what I have learned in museums of Warsaw. They work mostly with migrants from Ukraine, and their workshop include learning of language. One of their workshops is based on a list of terms in alphabetical order to make it easier for people to connect the language and the exhibition. Pretty simple, yet so useful. I decided to use their idea in such a way that the workshop participants choose the term museum object that they like the most. You can see translations of these terms. Also, the Croatian alphabet has 30 letters. You will see that some fields are empty. The reason for that is very simple. I didn't find terms which names started with those letters. Why did I leave them? On purpose. I was interested in whether the workshop participants could find them. In this case, they did not, but it does not mean that they will not in the next one. Here you can see tasks of workshop participants. They had to choose one of the terms from the table. Next step was to go to the exhibition and find selected item. Something like a treasure hunt, and cultural heritage is our treasure. Then they had to take a photo of the selected item and send me that photo. They used their mobile phones or our tablet. The next step was to write down on the computer why the person chose that particular item and to link a photo of the selected item with a written text. We had 4 laptops and they were all connected. We did the whole thing in PowerPoint. Here you can see some of the photos from the workshop. There are also evaluation sheets, and I have to tell you, I'm very satisfied with the grades. Now we are at the part which we did together. After all participants linked the photo with their texts, we made a film as a final product of workshop. And I will show you that film. The film lasts over a minute and a half. I put English subtitles now for you. I would like to say that I'm very satisfied because I received several short human stories, that is, personal experiences. I would like to repeat a similar workshop with participants of different ages because I think it will be interesting how much people's perception changes over time and age. You can look the film till the end. And what I would like to tell you in the end, there are some changes. It's the end of the project, and on Monday I want to count the visitors from our 2 target groups. 2020 and 2021 were COVID years, and museum was mostly closed to visitors, so I included 2019 as well. Members of the community of clubs of treated alcoholics of Brod-Posavlje County have occasionally come to our programs before. However, since the beginning of the project until today, their number has doubled. You will say 89 people is not a large number. I agree, it's not. However, you should keep in mind that we are a small local museum that usually has 200 to 600 visitors per exhibition that usually lasts for 2 months. This situation is different with a member of Association of Croatian Pensioners of Slavonski Brod. They didn't come to visit during this period from 2019 until the workshops start. That means until this year. And now they say call us. And other pensioners associations from our country began to contact us. I'm finishing with these charts in the shape of cakes. I've also covered the period since 2019. We started to do something better. We certainly must continue. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Ivana, for your inspiration and for your work. I see concrete results.
Yes.
So thank you very much. Yeah,
Thank you.
I would like, we are in the end of the conference, so I would like to invite you all to attend the next conference, which will be already in 3 weeks. That's in 19th of December, just before the Christmas. And please take your time and evaluate the conference, because your feedback is important for all the future events. As you know, we are looking forward to feedbacks and try to adapt the presentations to the wishes of our community. So thank you very much and have a good rest of the day. See you soon. Bye.